It's very good to be here. 안녕하세요. 어젯밤에 도착했습니다. 도착하자마자 저기 기사 식당에 가가지고 김치찌개 딱 먹었습니다. 올 때마다 그렇게 합니다. 그런 말밖에 몰라요. 정말이에요. 저 예전에 여기서 살았습니다. 한 2년 동안 서울에서 살았는데요. 그때는 좀 잘했는데 지금 단어 많이 잊어먹어서 좀 도름도름 얘기해요 이제. 그래서 오늘 제가 콩글리시로서 얘기하겠습니다. 이해하시기를 좀 바랍니다. I will say, I'm very excited, not about this, what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm of course excited about Evernote, but I'm more excited to hear after we speak, to hear the startups from Korea speak, and for you guys to present. It's going to be great. I've been involved with startup companies in Korea for a little while now. I deal a lot with Seoul Space. And a few other incubators, and I'm really impressed with what Seoul has to offer as far as talent and good creative ideas. Actually, about 3 weeks ago, we did a hackathon. Do you guys know what a hackathon is? hackathon 무엇인지 아시는 분들이 있어요? 알아요? 다 알아요? 좋습니다. We did our first one in the world here in Seoul at Yonsei-daehakyo, and it was a huge success. It was great. I couldn't believe how amazing the students were at creating some very innovative and interesting things. So I'm very fond of Korea. So today I thought that I would talk a little bit about the history of Evernote from more of an entrepreneurial perspective, so that as you guys are creating companies, you can kind of maybe learn from a little bit of what we've done good and a little bit of what we may not have done good. It's always important to learn and watch, so I'll share a little bit with you today. So Evernote, for those that may not know, is a platform for human memory. So anything that you want to remember, you can use Evernote to record those memories, whether they be an audio recording or a picture that you snap with your phone, or something that you clip off of the internet in your browser. Evernote is a place that you can store and find your notes in. So that's what Evernote is. But I'd like to talk about tough times, as we say in English. This means it's not always easy. And I think sometimes as an entrepreneur, you might look at a company like Evernote and say, ah, man, they're lucky. They're doing really well at getting a lot of new users, and their business model seems to be working really well. And it's easy to kind of look at these bigger companies that may have gone to the next step, but you may not see the true story of what it took to get there. And let me tell you a quick story. There was a day in 2008 when Tuja was nowhere to be found. Okay? You guys know what I'm talking about. In America, everything melted down. There wasn't a dollar that was being invested in new companies. Nobody would invest. And Evernote was at a very interesting point. They had done good and they had gotten a lot of users, but they were not profitable and they needed more money to survive, to push on. And Phil Libin, our CEO, as he tells the story, was laying awake at night in his bed, thinking about shutting down the company the next day. So he was thinking that he was going to have to tell his employees that they had to find different jobs that it was a fun run, but it's over. And as he was kind of thinking this and doing emails, an email came through from a user that was in Sweden. And the email was typical. It was an email saying, hey, I love your service. Thanks for creating Evernote. I use it a lot. It's a good thing. Thank you very much. And then at the bottom, it said, and if you need any investment, let me know. And so Phil Libben immediately started typing, right? And it turns out that a random user in Sweden invested $500,000 into Evernote within a couple weeks and saved the company. But Evernote was going to die. It was at its last leg. So no matter how hard it gets, keep trying. Keep trying. That's what it is to be an entrepreneur. It's not always easy. In fact, it's never easy. No matter what stage you're at. So many people don't know that story about Evernote, so I like to tell it because it's important as entrepreneurs to understand that it's not always easy. So now I'll talk about some things that you'll say, oh wow, Evernote is great. So this is kind of our growth over the past few years from 2008. We released the service in beta in 2008, and since then have grown reasonably well. We ended last year at 21 million users. Right now, we're a little above 27 million users. And on Saturday, this past Saturday, we added 93,442 new users. Now, I know numbers are hard. I could never say that in Korean. You know what I mean? So who's a good translator for that number? 93,000. Let's get a 통역 for that. 93,000 users.
93,000명이랍니다. 93,000명.
There we go. In one day. So we were very excited. That was our record. Now normally we add about 65,000 new users every day across the globe. And an interesting thing about Saturday is that in Korea, we normally add 2,500 or 2,500 new users every day in Korea. And